Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Oopie. In this video, I'm going to be covering Discipline Priest for Season 1 PvP specifically. I'm going to be going over the race talents, embellishment stats, and macros. So we're just going to jump straight into it. If you learned anything in this video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe. It's free and it helps me a lot. Starting off with the races is going to be Human gets extra stats, Night Elf gets Shadow Melt, Gnome gets a Freedom every 1 minute, which is very good to counter versus Root Beams, and then Dragon and Blitz gets a Flyback, so they can't get knocked off maps. Undead is also a great choice. They get Will of Forsaken, and then Dragon for Horde as well. Very good. Moving on to the talents, we actually have 2 builds. They're both going to be in the description below as long as with my Twitch as well. So the first one is going to be this Will and Woe Aegis of Wrath build. This first Will and Woe build is a 3s build and also a Blitz build. You can play this literally in 2s, 3s, and Blitz. Now this Void Weaver build is specifically for 2v2 arenas and Blitz as well. Blitz as in Arathi Basin and Deepwind Gorge. Specifically those maps because you are going to be going Blacksmith or Market in middle and spinning the base with another DPS, and you can just pump out tons of damage and keep your mana at 90% the entire game. The PvP talents are going to be Ultimate Radiance, Inner Light, and Shadow. You're going to be an Inner Shadow almost all the time. You can be an Inner Light if you're in 3s, which is actually not bad. It's pretty good. Catharsis is really good as well as a 3rd option. These are going to be your 3 that you never really change too much, but you can change Catharsis to Archangel is also a very good option. And then Phase Shift, definitely you can play, but it's actually not as good as these other 2 in my opinion, but it can be good in certain comps, definitely, versus like RMP, FMP, things like that, setup comps. But currently, as one of the highest Disc Priest and Blitz, I definitely recommend Catharsis 100% for every single map. It doesn't even matter. You can play Archangel and Flag maps if you want to, but Catharsis just takes the cake all over the board. Next, we're going to be jumping into the embellishments. You're going to want to go with the Energy Redistribution Beacon, 2 of those specifically. Whenever you're above 80% health, direct healing you do also redistributes up to 2% of your health to your target. This is going to be super good. You're going to it's going to also be very easy to keep yourself above 80% because with Binding Heal, the talent, every time you flash heal your teammate, it flash heals you, which puts atonement on yourself, and then you're doing damage. It's just going to pop you, plus your leech and everything is just going to keep you above 80% at all times. Next thing are the stats we're going to be looking at. So for your stats, it's pretty simple. You're going to be going Versatility, Mastery with all of your gear. I almost totally forgot about the 4 set. You play with the 4 set, the helmet, shoulder, chest, and the gloves. You're going to eventually have every single piece of gear crafted, so that is going to make yourself around 39 to 40% mastery and 15% verse. Same with your gems. You're going to be going Versatile, Onyx, which are mastery, versatility. Your enchants are going to be Chant of Leeching Fangs on your cloak, Council's Intellect on your chest, Leech on your bracers, Authority of Radiant Power on your weapon, 747 Intellect, 5% mana on your legs, Cursed Mastery on both of your rings. So now we can look a little bit into the rotation. We're going to be specifically focusing on Solo Shuffle in this. So in my opinion, for Solo Shuffle is you are going to be pulling out Rapture as soon as possible early game, so it can come back later in the game and you can get a use of it again, and it is going to be huge whenever you get it again because there's going to be high dampening. It's just going to be super big and it's going to win the game pretty much. Your trinket is either going to be very early in the game and it'll be back up in the end game, or you're not going to trinket at all and save it until the very end game, and you're only going to use it whenever you need to trinket Void Shift, which is your swap, which that would make sense because Void Shift will always and should always come at the end of an arena, and Solo Shuffle should be your last button, your oh crap button. Your first charge of premonition from your Oracle ability, you're going to want to use that with the Radiances or Shields. Radiances are going to be the best because it's going to proc your Harsh Discipline, making your penance shoot extra bolts, and then you can Radiance, shoot your big penance, and then your Radiance will be off cooldown because your premonition reduce the cooldown of your next 2 abilities, and then you can have a big penance again. Doing this is going to cause a lot of offensive pressure, and it's also going to get your premonition rolling on its cooldown, so you can use your bigger premonitions because the way it works is it changes so time you use it, it's a different ability 3 times in a row, I'm pretty sure it is. Your first being a spell ability cooldown reduction, and then your second one being a big heal. Your healing is increased by like 20% or something, and then the third one is a shield, and then the fourth one, actually there's 4, is a bigger shield. I think it's a bigger shield than the third one, and it also has all of them combined 20% healing, and I think it has 20% healing, and it also has the first one that reduces the cooldown of your next 2 abilities. So it is very important to get that rolling out as fast as possible. You should not need to use your second charge of premonition whenever you're using Rapture, because Rapture should be enough to keep your team alive. Once you get done with Rapture, you can pop that second premonition, 20% increased healing, which is going to be huge. You're going to line up your pain suppression and your dome. Either one, you're only going to use one at a time. Try as hard as possible to only use one at a time, but that's going to line up with their offensive cooldowns. After your second premonition, that's going to increase your healing by 20%. You can pop Archangel after that one is over, and your healing will be increased by 20% again for 15 seconds. Your ultimate radiance and solo shovel specifically is probably going to be better to use around the end game, so you can pop out an ultimate penance after that, I guess. It's better because it's a huge heal. You want to use it as DPS and make sure you have atonement on your teammates, because it's going to be a huge damage, and there's high dampening in solo shuffle. It's going to be harder for the enemy healer to heal through, and it's going to be a huge heal for you, so it's just great all around in dampening. And you're going to only get to use it 1 time in each round, so it's not like you can use it at the beginning and then use it again later on. Keep your Purge the Wicked, your dot on any target, and then penance that target, because it's also going to spread with one of your talents to the other enemies. You can track Power of the Dark Side, your talent, which increases your next penance by 50%. If you don't have it, then you can Mind Blast and it gives it to you 100%, but your Purge the Wicked can give it to you, so you will be wasting a Mind Blast if you already have it up. Use your Power Word Shield off cooldown. Those are some tips and tricks that beginner priest should definitely learn. For Discipline Priest, I don't have too many macros, but I will link them in the description. I have a feather macro where you don't even have to target yourself, and it puts a feather directly on the ground underneath you, so you just click it and then you're instantly moving faster. Also have a dot macro that works for Mind Blast, your dot or penance or purge. I'll link those all in the description, where you don't even have to target the enemy, you target your teammate, and whatever they're targeting, it hits them. I also have a macro for Power Infusion where you can just type their name in and it power infusions whoever's name is in the macro. I'll link put in the description as well. A good one also is a target arena 123 mind control macro. Now I'll tell you the best compositions for 2v2 arena, 3v3 arena, and for battleground blitz what to queue with. So for 2v2 arenas, your best bet are probably going to be a Beastmaster Hunter or a Feral Druid. Rogues are also very good as well. A BM Hunter is probably the #1 pick. For threes, you can go with Jungle, which is Feral Druid Hunter, BM Hunter specifically right now, or you can play what I've been playing, which is Dev Evoker and a BM Hunter. RMP, which is Rogue Mage. FMP, which is Feral Druid Mage. Feral Druid Ellie. Assassination Rogue Ellie. I try to stay away from healing warlocks because they are just very hard to heal as a priest. Now for blitz, the best thing to possibly queue with as a healer, healers can queue with other healers or DPS, but DPS can't queue with other DPS. So the best thing for a discipline priest to queue with, personally in my opinion, I haven't queued with one actually, is a dragon, a healer, a dragon, Prez Evoker. That's because Prez Evokers are literally the best healer in the game for blitz because their mobility is absolutely insane and they are bugged whenever it comes to the flag debuff. Whenever they take damage, they do healing according to how much damage they take, and that healing is not nerfed whenever it comes to the flag nerf debuff that they get from it. Reduced healing, I'm trying to say, it is not affected by that or heals. So they're extremely tanky, and it is super good whenever you get a dragon on your team or a Mistweaver, because you're not getting a Holy Pally or another Disc Priest or a Resto Shaman, which sucks comparing up with another Discipline Priest. because then if you get an FC map, you just don't have an FC, and you have an FC as a discipline priest, and it's really hard to just heal yourself. When all they have to do is just teleport across the map, click one button, and then they get damage on them, and it heals them for some reason, and they can cast, get kicked, doesn't even matter. The next best thing I would say is probably an assassination rogue, because it's a rogue that does crazy damage. They can ninja bases, they can do anything, they can top damage charts by far. That's what I queue with, was just JMac. I was number 1 in Blitz, and then I started queuing my alt, so I'm going to definitely make some Blitz gads for Priest, or just Blitz gads in general. So if you are ready for that, subscribe to it, notifications. Again, if you liked the video, press like on it. It's free. It takes 1 second. It helps this video out tons. Peace.